Good morning. Thank you for coming to this Beatles series. Thank you, Octet. Thank you, George Harrison. And thank you for showing up for your transformation. Is this fun? You know, music just is the energy of life. And here comes the sun. So we're participating here. You know, it's my heart to your heart as we wake up together. So I'm going to stretch a little bit. I'm going to ask you to stretch a little bit. I'm going to sing a little of this chorus, and then I'm going to invite you all to sing the last line, all right? Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Na-na-na-na-na. Right. It's all right. It's all right. Is that what you said to yourself this morning? It's all right. Because for some of us, happens to me occasionally, I can feel like it's all wrong. And if something's not wrong with me, then something's definitely wrong with you. Or something's wrong in this world. Has that ever happened to you? So in our song this morning, and looking for the spiritual message, and here comes the sun, I'd like for us to move from it's all wrong to it's all right. It's all right. I was a flight attendant for Pan Am Airlines from 1989 to 1994, and most of that time I was based in London. Now, people in London will tell you that they have a summer. It lasts from June 14th to June 16th. Because as if you visited London, often it's cloudy in London. And so I flew out of London 3 or 4 times a week to one of these U.S. destinations. And I'd strap myself on my jump seat, and we'd take off in that 747, and we'd get through those clouds, and we'd get above the clouds, and what happened? Every single time, the sun came pouring through those windows because the sun was always there. It was always there, whether we were going to Detroit or New York, or whether it was Wednesday or Friday, the sun was always there. And I was recognized as I was sitting there, you know, things feel cloudy in our lives sometimes. And I would recognize I may really be focusing on what feels cloudy and what feels cold and what feels confusing right now. But the sun was always there. And I recognized that's important for me when all I can see sometimes are the clouds and the wet and the confusion, rather than understanding that the sun is always there. So our message this morning is to recognize that wherever you are right now in your life is absolutely perfect. You know, we are in always this place of divine order. Whatever's happening is important for you to be with. But it's also important for us to know that on the other side of the clouds is always the sun. So we're going to use this song to be part of our awakening. You know, interesting to me that George Harrison wrote this song in 1969 during a spring in London where he was feeling kind of depressed. And he went over to his friend Eric Clapton's house, always kind of what I wanted to do in London, drop by Eric's house. And he borrowed Eric's guitar and he walked around in the garden and he played the guitar and thinking about the summer coming. Here comes the sun. So to look at these, the 3 parts of this song, the idea of being here, being present in your life in this now moment, looking at what is upcoming in your world, what is coming up in your world, what do you have enthusiasm for, and finally, where is that sun in you, and what is happening, and where is that radiance, and have you looked at that recently? So being here, being present in your life, I wonder how many people's attention really is right here, right now. I mean, how many of us may be doing our grocery list? How many of us may be thinking, did I feed the cat this morning? How many people may be thinking, I wonder what's going to happen to the Chiefs this afternoon? Are you here now? Are you here now in your world? Number of books written about this. Ram Dass, Be Here Now. And the one, of course, that took off like gangbusters was Eric Tolle, The Power of Now. Eric Tolle, from his book, says, life is now. There was never a time when your life was not now, nor will there ever be. Eckhart Tolle wrote, in a way, you just have to pay attention to it because it sounds so, deep. Your life is always now. But what happens to us is, like my meditation teacher out at Unity Village says, our thoughts take us away from our now moment. Our thoughts can be like a railroad car, he always said, on a train. It's like if you had the thought, tomorrow I need to speak to my boss. She seems to be troubled lately, and this is a big issue I need to talk to her about, and I don't think she's really going to hear me. She kind of reminds me a little bit of my mother, and I don't know if I like this job anyway. I don't think they pay me enough, and I'm just not worried. This whole thing, I'm not even sure if I want to show up tomorrow at work. Do you see how the train is way down the track? The train has left the station, and you're not here in your moment. Can we relate to that? And so the idea is, how do we be here now? How do we be in this now breath? Because your life is always here, right now. So I'm going to have a little exercise. Because being aware of who you are and your now breath allows you to live your life. So my teacher out at Unity Village has given me an exercise that's been helpful to me to watch my thoughts. So we're going to take the next 15 seconds to count your thoughts. Hey. And so if you'll close your eyes for a moment, take a breath. See, breathe without thinking. Isn't that handy? And I'm going to count. I'll tell you when the time is up, and I want you to count your thoughts, starting now. Okay, take a breath. So how many people had more than 20 thoughts? How many people had between 10 and 20 thoughts? And how many had less than 10? Wow, okay. Isn't it interesting? I thought they're just not going to participate with me. I don't care. But anyway, the deal is when you watch, isn't it interesting when you start watching your thoughts, how they slow down? Because it's kind of like the boogeyman, if you shine the light under the bed, there's nobody there. As a kid, when you'd say, look under the bed, there's nobody there. When we start watching our thoughts, they don't take us away because we start to be aware of them. So we get to practice that. And a way you can always bring yourself into the now moment is to just feel the breath, the air going in your nose and into your lungs and exhaling. We can't breathe 10 minutes into the past or 10 minutes into the future. So if you be with your breath, you're absolutely and automatically right here and right now. It totally says something else about our mind. He says the mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very destructive. That train that just left the station. To put it more accurately, it is not so much that you use your mind wrongly, you don't use it at all. It uses you. So to use our mind rightly, we want to allow ourselves to be present. We are the master of our life, and we get to decide how much attention and how much we want to be in our now moment. It's a great story of the two monks that were walking along. They're going to lunch, a young monk and an old monk. And someone comes up to them and says, "What are you all doing?" And the young monk says, "We're going to lunch." And the old monk says, "We're walking." Present in our lives. Be here now.